Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Akshita Nandagopal. This Monday morning, I'll be getting you a roundup of all the top stories that we're tracking. What's dominated headlines over the weekend and what continues to be the big talking point today is what's playing out in Maharashtra. And it's been essentially snowballing for the last many weeks. The loudspeaker controversy over Azan being played, it was started by MNS Chief Raj Thackeray, who said that we'll recite Hanuman Chalisa as well in response to that. Now, amid that, over the weekend, there was an independent MLA MP, a couple, Ravi Rana and Navneet Rana, who've been taken into custody and slapped with sedition. They're representatives of Amravati in Maharashtra. They had threatened that they're going to be reciting the Hanuman Chalisa outside Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray's residence. So they've been taken into custody. They've been slapped with extremely grave charges like sedition, and they're right now in custody. No relief in sight for them because they've been put in judicial remand till I think May 16th or so. Their bail plea hearing, which they sought an urgent hearing of, the court has said nothing doing. So till next Friday, they remain behind bars. Now, the Uddhav government has said that there is a clear conspiracy led by the Ranas, and they've also hinted at a BJP role here to create unrest in the state, which is why they've also slapped the extremely serious sedition charge against them. The Ranas, who we've spoken to here on India Today, maintain that this is a witch hunt against them by Uddhav Thackeray. And for a threat that they leveled of chanting Hanuman Chalisa, they've questioned how is it fair for us to be going ahead and facing sedition charges. But this has become a big political point in Maharashtra. It's led to also incidents like BJP leader Kirit Somaiya facing an attack that left him bleeding when he went to visit the Ranas on Saturday. The BJP has referred to this arrest as completely illegal and said that this is the heights of intolerance. But amid all of this, today the Maharashtra government, the Mahavikas Aghadi, is holding an all-party meeting to discuss this very issue, not of the arrest of Ranas, not about all of that, but about the loudspeaker controversy. And that stems from what MNS Chief Raj Thackeray demanded, saying ban the playing of azans in these loudspeakers, ban the use of loudspeakers by religious places, or we'll do the exact same thing. We'll recite the Hanuman Chalisa together. It did spiral off into a lot of protests, etc., which is why in this particular all-party meeting, it will be interesting to see what is the outcome, what is the big takeaway. At this point, Raj Thackeray has said he's not going to be attending this all-party meeting. His party, the MNS, will be a part of the meeting. They'll send their representatives, but he has chosen to skip it. Interesting, because he was the one who started this entire controversy. So the fact that he said that I'm not going to be there, but representatives of MNS will be there itself makes it clear what his stand is with regards to the government taking the step of an all-party meet. So we'll see what really is the outcome of this all-party meet, whether there's a decision that's taken, because so far as Maharashtra is concerned, with all of this drama and this debate over loudspeakers, they did come out with some regulation saying that if loudspeakers are to be used at religious places of worship, permission will have to be taken from local administration. Will that be followed by more steps is the question, and we'll have to see what is the outcome of their all-party meet. But there's endless politics that's playing out in Maharashtra over this particular issue. Let me now take you through news from neighboring Karnataka, where for the last many months, not even weeks, we've been seeing a lot of polarization. I'm talking about the hijab controversy, which you're so familiar with by now, the halal controversy. There was a demand to ban azan as well in Karnataka by some fringe groups. Now the controversy is again surrounded over an educational institution, but this is over the Bible. Now, this is a school called the Clarence High School. There's been an undertaking that they've made parents sign. This undertaking essentially states that the parents should give permission for their students, for their wards, to carry the Bible to school. And this undertaking has sparked a huge controversy because several groups, saffron groups particularly, have questioned how this is okay. They've said that how can non-Christian students be forced to carry the Bible, be forced to read it, be forced to imbibe the learnings of the Bible? Doesn't this go against their basic fundamental right of practicing their own religion? At this point, the government, there's been no reaction from, but right-wing groups have been saying that we're going to stage a protest if something isn't done immediately. We've been digging a bit deeper as well. So beyond this undertaking, if you look at the website of the school, it says that we look to impart high-quality Bible-based education. So that's written clearly in what the high school itself stands for. But let us know what you really think about this entire controversy, because we've been seeing one issue after another in Karnataka. Do you believe that when the website clearly states that, this is what we stand for, is it okay for them to go ahead and practice that and tell students they must carry the Bible? Or is this, as several groups have said, an infringement of the basic fundamental right of students to practice whatever religion, the right to practice their own religion? Does this come in the way of their own faith when they are asked to carry the Bible, when there's an undertaking that has to be signed by parents saying they should be allowed, they should give their nod for the students to carry the Bible and then to go ahead and read and learn all about the holy book? So it's triggered a bit of a controversy in Karnataka. And it's just about started last evening, which is when it came to light that this kind of an undertaking was present. So we're tracking that as well very closely. Two more stories that I want to tell you about. I know a lot of you are wondering what the COVID situation is in the country. So it would be amiss if I didn't highlight for you the latest data from the Health Ministry. The numbers are going up, and that's a bit of a concern. Nothing that we need to panic or extremely worry about, but the government also is tracking this closely. I'll tell you how in just a bit. Let me tell you the data first. The Health Ministry has said 2,541 new cases have been reported in the last 24 hours. 30 deaths also, unfortunately, have been reported so far. Now, what I can tell you is that the positivity rate has climbed up to 0.84%. If I'm not wrong, on Friday, when I had last joined you live, the positivity rate was at about 0.55%. So it's climbed up by 0.3% there. It's now at 0.84%. Delhi, again, the caseload has gone above the 1,000 mark. I'm talking about the last 24 hours. So that's a bit of a concern. 2,541 cases, out of which 1,000 plus is from Delhi alone. The fatalities also now are at 30. So this is something that the government also, as I mentioned, is tracking closely. In 2 days from now, Prime Minister Modi is going to be holding a meeting with all chief ministers. He's called for this video conferencing, which will happen on April 27th. So the central government also very closely tracking what's happening. What Prime Minister Modi essentially will be looking to do is to send out a caution to chief ministers, to state, say, keep your guard up, don't lower your guard at this point. It's a very crucial point in the fight against COVID. Is there a concern of a fourth wave? Right now, no. But if we let our guard down, there very much will be. So, I know there's a lot of questions if whether with that meeting, the video conference that Prime Minister Modi holds, whether there will be some sort of lockdown-like effect. The answer is no. There will be some curbs put in place, and largely those curbs will be mask mandates, will be about large gatherings, etc. So you could see the smallest of curbs being brought back in some states of the country where the caseload, where the positivity rate is climbing up. But otherwise, will we be seeing a full-fledged lockdown or any sort of curbs? Not really. That's the indication we're getting right now. But let's hope that those numbers remain under control, because right now 2,500 and counting. It could get worse in the next few days. So to control that surge, there need to be some immediate steps taken, particularly with regards to the basics of masks, social distancing, etc. One final story that I want to tell you about, which is the big international headline of the day, coming from France. The presidential election that everyone's talking about. Emmanuel Macron has sealed a second term as president. In the last 2 decades, France hasn't seen a president getting a second term. So it's a big deal for Macron. But add to that, and the reason this election was so talked about was because of far-right leader Marine Le Pen. There was a lot of speculation that she actually could cause a huge upset, become the first woman French president, especially with a lot of sentiments shifting towards the right wing in France. As far as the election itself is concerned, around 58% of the vote has gone Macron's way, 42% Le Pen's way. So that is perhaps the closest, in the sense that this is the largest vote that's gone for a right-wing leader in France, and that also shows you the shifting of sentiments in France. Yes, Macron has sealed a second term, but he has a series of challenges, including addressing the trust deficit that's evident in France, and the fact that you saw protests also breaking out soon after the announcement that he seems to have sealed a second term. So that's the other top international story that we're tracking this morning. Trust us here on India Today to get you all the big national, international headlines of the day. Same time tomorrow, I'll be joining you with the top stories. That's it from me.